Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome to our LP channel. Today we're talking about Vixen and Katana, a double dose of girl power. Now, this is going to be more like a drive-through approach to these lovely ladies, if you don't mind, because, well, I have other projects to work on. Okay, so these superheroines are, of course, part of different DLC packs. We have Vixen from the Heroines and Villainesses DLC, and of course, Katana from The Squad. Now, Vixen's minifigure is very similar to Wolverine from the Marvel Lego game. Minus, well, she can fly, of course, but the character can still dig, and I dig that. She uses powers of animals to do different things, but in this game, they don't appear as constructs, unlike Green Lantern, which is kind of a bummer. Still, her inclusion is awesome. Like Batman and most of the Bat characters, she too uses a detective vision, though it's yellow. On to Katana. She first appeared in 1980, issue number 200 of Batman Brave and the Bold, where she became part of Batman's Outsiders. Tatsu's minifigure, aka Katana, has a sword, duh. Well, it's a Lego sword. Not very pointy though. She can attack and put it away, and that's about all she does. Still, she looks pretty cool. Her costume is of course from the New 52 and very samurai-ish. Alrighty, so backstory on Katana. She's just your average Japanese girl with mad ninja skills and carries around a cool sword. She develops a love triangle between two brothers who fought over her in school, so think like a rom-com style show. She chose one brother over the other, except the spurned brother became the leader of the Yakuza. If you don't know who that is, it's Japanese mafia. While Katana eventually got married to the other brother and had many children. While away from her home doing some grocery shopping, the two brothers decide to fight for her honor. And, well, her husband loses in the duel, and his soul gets trapped in the brother's sword, which Katana would later dub the Soul Taker Sword. Sadly for her, the mad evil brother slayed her children and her parents as well. Tatsu, along with her talking sword, think like Saba, flee to America. There, Katana has many adventures in Gotham and eventually runs into the Batman. After accidentally framing Batman and Black Lightning for murder, she helped clear their names eventually and became a member of Bat's Outsiders. She also becomes good friends with Halo, who is Geoforce's sister, which isn't in this game, so I don't need to talk about her. When her friend goes into a coma though, Tatsu stays by her to watch over her even in death, because she's honor-bound to do so. Read about the Japanese Code of Bushido and you'll learn all about that stuff. Later, she was visited by a family member asking her to join the Suicide Squad because one of her husband's relatives or something is being targeted by the Yakuza who's trying to steal this awesome weapon from them, which will make the Yakuza even stronger. Tatsu, of course, says no to joining up, and her relative tries to go and stop the Yakuza and dies. Enraged by this, Katana joins the Suicide Squad and eventually even saves Bronze Tiger and his entire team, which puts them in her debt. She just goes around collecting debt from people, if you think about it. She saves you, you're in her debt forever, as per the Code of the Samurai. Some really weird stuff happens to her eventually, though. During a fight with Lady Shiva, Tatsu is killed by her own Soul Taker sword. Yet, here's the kicker, she's able to come back to life somehow, which, I don't know how. It's never really explained. It has to do with fighting the different souls that she's taken with her sword or something. I don't know. All you need to know is she comes back badder than ever. She also is mostly a reserved member of the Bat family. Think of like a Shadow though, because she doesn't go to the Bat family picnics, and she's kind of a temporary member of the Birds of Prey, which is Oracle's team. When Barbara is kidnapped by the Senator Pullman guy, Tatsu goes and saves her. Then, after the events of 1 year later, Katana becomes a member of Nightwing's Outsiders, though he doesn't stick around too long to boss her around, and Roy Harper ends up leading the team for a while, and Katana's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. Years later, when Grayson is the Batman, Tatsu becomes the leader of the Outsiders, and one of his strongest allies. When Blackest Night occurs, Katana must fight her husband, ex-boyfriend, and undead children. And that does a lot to her mind, actually. As for the rebooted universe, her origin is mostly the same, though no one believes her dead husband lives inside her sword, so they think she's kinda nuts. She's also been a part of the Suicide Squad, Amanda Waller's Justice League of America, and Green Arrow's Outsiders, which is way too confusing to explain. She also had a major sidekick role in Beware the Batman, working with Batman instead of Robin in that show. More of her backstory was going to be revealed in later seasons, and Alfred is of course her adoptive father in that universe. Tatsu appeared in Batman Brave and the Bold as well, working with Black Lightning and the other Outsiders. Before we wrap up Katana, some of you may know her as a character in Arrow, working with Oliver Queen mostly in flashbacks, though she was responsible for somehow bringing Queen back to life, most likely using a Lazarus Pit. They are currently using many of Katana and Batman's stories as fuel for the Arrow show instead of just having Batman in there. So the relationship between Katana and Arrow is exactly the same as the relationship between Bruce and Katana in the comics. Alrighty, so it's Vixen time. Now Mari is a girl that's got it going on. She's a successful superhero and supermodel. Vixen is also the perfect rags to riches DC character. Mari was born in a poor African village, like somewhere in the jungle. Both her parents are eventually killed by crime, kind of like Bruce Wayne, forcing Mari to leave and come to the US, where she attends a university, then graduates and becomes a mega model in New York City. Wanting to get revenge on her uncle for slaying her reverend father, she returns to Africa to reclaim her mother's totem and defeats her uncle. Though the interesting thing about Vixen is she never wanted to be a superhero at all, which is a huge difference for a lot of DC heroes. But when she comes into contact with her mother's necklace, well, she becomes a superhero and gains the powers of different animals, which includes the ability to fly, super strength, agility, being able to see things, and so much more. Her first appearance was in 1981 Action Comics number 521, though originally she was supposed to make her debut in 1978. But due to cutbacks at DC Comics, hers and many others' heroes' introductions were shelved because of finances. Eventually though, Mari does become a member of the Justice League. Well, the Justice League Detroit, the one with Paco and Aquaman as the leader, and Manhunter's kind of like, these guys aren't Justice League people. She saves the entire team from Amazo though, and gets mad respect from the team. She's also present and a member when Vibe and Steel are killed, which actually causes her to leave the team because they were like BFFs. During a photo shoot sometime later with different model friends, everyone but Mari is assassinated. Angered by this, she enlists the A-Team, the Suicide Squad led by Bronze Tiger. They also develop kind of a romance as the series goes on. Mari ends up staying on the team for a very long time because she accidentally kills the man responsible for murdering her friends to death. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Well, we'll go with that. After several years and seeing more friends in the squad perish, Mari leaves the task force and Bronze Tiger. She would have stayed though if Ben just would have acknowledged that he needed her, and he doesn't. So she then continues the superhero gig by joining Checkmate, and on the side launches a very successful clothing line. She and the Huntress also tend to work together a lot and become good friends, but their crime-fighting ideologies are a little bit different. I forget how, but Mari becomes an important member of the Justice League again through some type of story, but I don't really remember. She's also working with Firestorm during Identity Crisis, the one where Ronnie is killed. She kind of fails to save him, and she's there when it happens. 1 year later, Solomon Grundy, who now speaks like Grodd and he's very intelligent, tries to steal Vixen's superpowers, needing her totem to destroy the world or something. Mari and the League, of course, beat him. Not long after this, though, Vixen is featured in a story where her powers are draining the entire Justice League. Instead of, using her animal powers for the past, year or so, she's actually been draining the likes of Superman and some of the most powerful League members. Black Canary finds out about this and ends up giving her a pink slip, telling her she has to leave the team for the team's own safety. After seeking help from Zatanna because her powers are magic, and something magic is obviously interfering with her powers, they learn that Anansi is messing with Vixen and Animal Man in Africa, removing their connection to the Red Zone and the planet, which the red is like what the powers of the totem are drawn from or something. After facing the Trickster God in Mortal Kombat, Mari's powers are restored and she gets sent back to the Justice League of America. Though Anansi warns her that he'll call her back at any time someday to either mess with her or make her do something. She's present at the funeral for her friend Martian Manhunter later, and then holds off Darkseid when he tries to steal the anti-life equation from Earth. All I gotta say is, the girl's got skills. DC does end up writing her off, though, just before the Blackest Night zombie event, and has her breaking her leg fighting Prometheus. I know, right? The character was going to be the leader of a group of Justice Leaguers in Africa and work with Batwing, but instead DC rebooted the entire universe. So yeah, more reasons not to like the New 52. Mari got screwed. Anyway, in the New 52, most of her origins are still intact, but she's not as cool anymore. Actually, she doesn't really do anything. After being a member of the Justice League for like a week, she gets badly injured and sent into the ICU. Her friend Batwing then takes her place on the League and fights in her memory, even though she's not dead. After he dies, though, she returns and becomes an active member, but really doesn't do anything in the book. She has no character development whatsoever, and it's kind of sad. Vixen actually played a huge role in Justice League Unlimited, though, as Shayura's rival between her love with Green Lantern. So it was like a triangle story. The two eventually become friends, though, but, you know, kind of like rival friends. Both really tried to steal John away from one another, which made for very interesting stories done by Dwayne McDuffie. Like her comic book origins, though, Mari is a wealthy supermodel and activist. And well, that's it, that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching another LEGO Batman 3 lore video. Now, from now on, we'll be doing 2 characters per video, along with brief rundowns of who they are and what they're famous for. Still, feel free to leave a suggestion for heroes and villains in the comments below. Stay tuned tonight for Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. Well, have a fantastic rest of your day, and until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming. See ya!